You can only have one wife. You can only have one wife, guys, at a time. Legally in this country, you can have more than one, but not at the same time. We're going to talk about that and what that means here in a little bit, because I know some of you are going, what in the world are you talking about? There's this preacher down in Florida. He just announced to his church he's taking a second wife. Can't do it. Anyway, we'll save that for the Pinheads. Blow up the chat. Let me see you guys. I'm glad to be back. Once you guys get in here, I'm going to tell you something important, really, really important. David, hit mute on yours, please, if you don't mind. Got a little buzz in the ear. But I want to see. Let's let those numbers climb on up there. It's so weird. I'm going to take this out of my ear. No, I won't. I need to be able to hear David if he says something to me important. There we go. My ear was messing up. I've been gone for a couple of days, and the gremlins get into the system, man, but it's okay. I'm just happy to be back. It's so weird whenever Rumble gives us whenever they give us that main featured live, whatever they call it, in that first hour of the morning when we do Before the Noise. Gosh, 14,000 people watching the thing. Then you do the Chad Prather show. We got a whopping 479, but you know what? I don't care. You're the ones that matter. You're the ones that are committed. You're the ones that are family. You're the ones that are awesome. And it just tells you that numbers, well, I guess they matter. But at the end of the day, the ones who show up, those are the ones that matter. I blame Linda. I think Linda runs everybody off. What's the deal, Linda Adams? I'll have a talk with you Thursday night. Maybe Friday night, too. Thursday, I'll be at Do-Si-Do in Spring, Texas. Me and the Ragamuffins are going to be down there yet again. I think this is about our 8th or 9th show at the Big Barn, the historic, legendary Do-Si-Do. Can't wait to be there. Get your family, friends, get driving in there and come hang out with us. Then we're down at Birch 295 in Seabrook, Texas, down on the coast, outside, kicking off Fall Fest. And let me correct you there, Linda, on a couple of things. David and Steve did a good job, she said, holding your seat. They didn't hold my seat. They don't need to hold my seat. They held their own seats, and they did a heck of a job doing that. They don't, you know, the thing about David and Steve is, and this is what I wanted to wait and get everybody on here so I could say openly, publicly, out loud, thank you to David Medina, at David Medina PDX, and Party Foul Steve for holding down the fort last week. I was out of the country. Now, I did Before the Noise because I pre-recorded those episodes. I don't like to tell people I'm doing that because normally I am live on the Before the Noise. But they filled in like a champ. I was so proud of not to be condescending. I was just so thankful for what they did. But they brought good content, phenomenal content. I mean, David's second to none in putting the content together. I mean, this show exists because of David pulling that stuff together day in and day out, and he just does a phenomenal job. I keep twisting his arm. I keep saying, dude, if you would just come on every freaking day and we'd just do a little panel deal, it would be even more fun show. But I love David. I love his insights, and I'm thankful for him. He can hear me saying it because he's here. You just can't see him. But phenomenal job. So thank you to David. Thank you to Party Foul Steve. Party Foul Steve, he's out in the woods today. Wouldn't you know it? He's out there looking for a Bambi. He's out there trying to kill something, man. I talked to Steve Helms yesterday. They're down in South Texas, and he did kill Bambi. He sent me a picture of that little thing. Killed a little doe. That's right. Some little baby deer doesn't have mama coming home tonight because Steve Helms shot her. I'm going full-blown environmentalist, 5-alarm tree hugger. Kill them all. Let God sort them out. I'm thankful to be back with you guys. I was down in Mexico. I was down in Cancun in spite of the government shutdown. I want to tell you a little bit about that in a minute. Apparently, we're going to reopen this thing, this nightmare, which is the American government. And, I think we should. I think it's time. 40 days, something like that. It's the longest one in American history. Democrats are hard-headed. I mean, when they just decide to shut things down, they did it, and they weren't going to bend or waver on any of it. But I'm going to show you here in a little while that they're all full of it. The Democrats, it was pure political posturing. They got nothing accomplished by this shutdown. All the children starving out there. It was the Democrats' fault because they wouldn't pass the vote. And you know what? They wouldn't pass a clean CR. So the people who did suffer, it was all for naught. I'll break that down for you in a little bit. But I went over to Cancun, Make Wellness, as you know. It was we had about 400 people there. Had about 250 people that earned that trip. I got to take a little sip of my fit. We had a good time. All-inclusive Ava Resort. I didn't know if I was on a cruise ship. I didn't know if I was in Vegas. It was the biggest resort I've ever seen in my life. The place was massive. And got away for a few days. No, I'm not a big getter-awayer. I get away for a living, right? I travel all over the country doing live shows. So I'm not a big getter-awayer. It's hard for me to get away. I like being here. I'm a workaholic. I'm unapologetic about it. Some people get mad at me, but I'm a workaholic. I like doing what I do because I do the things that I find fun. People always say, what do you do for fun? This, talking to you guys, it's fun. But I want you to picture this with me for a minute. I had to go through the airport, a couple of airports. And, you know, in the middle of a government shutdown, I didn't know what I was going to get. Was it going to be these big delays? They were showing me pictures of people coming out of Houston with like these 3-hour deals of waiting to get through TSA. And let me tell you my story. You guys ready? Let me see if you guys are in the chat. You ready? I'm going to tell you my story. Here's what happened. I'm no stranger to the TSA. I get recognized quite a bit by those guys. Maybe they have some downtime to watch the show. I don't know. But I always appreciate the ones who are very kind and very nice. And they shake my hand and I shake their hand back. And I like to give them a good ribbing, you know, the TSA. Anybody that touches my crotch at will, I'm allowed to make fun of you a little bit, TSA. When I get the rub down, I don't care if it's the back of your hand or not. Sometimes I wear a little metal just so I can get some, you know. If that's what's going to happen, then I get to make fun of you. So I'm at the airport, right there in the middle of this government shutdown last week. And you have those people who control your life, the government, and you think that they're taking a vacation from ruining your life. Somehow I'm still paying taxes. It's like tipping your kidnapper. So I roll into the airport thinking, hey, maybe the shutdown means the TSA will be a little bit easier to deal with. Like they won't be a problem. Wrong. Turns out those guys are like cockroaches in a nuclear blast. They just get bigger and meaner. Can't get rid of them. They multiply. Now, the difference with the cockroaches and the TSA is cockroaches don't confiscate your toothpaste and call it national security. But now I digress. The government shut down, right? You got TSA agents. They're not even getting paid, which is my assumption, right? I mean, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. They're not getting paid. They'll get back paid. But it means they've achieved a new level of bitterness reserved for divorce lawyers and cable company reps. I get to the scanner. And there's this dude standing there. You know the dude. You know the dude yelling at you. He looks at me like I've personally shut down the government. He's like, sir, you've been selected for additional screening. Nobody got time for that. Y'all are short-staffed. What do you mean? What do you mean selected? That's not a game show prize. Congratulations, Chad. You've won an all-expenses-paid trip to a full-body fondle from a dude named Randy. All right, look, buddy, I'm not even trying to fly to a dangerous place. I'm just trying to go through Dallas. The only thing I'm smuggling is some emotional trauma and some beef jerky that's been in the bag probably for 6 months. I go through the machine beeps. Of course it does. It always does. The dude is now treating me like I'm on FBI's most wanted list for owning nail clippers. And he asks, have you got anything metal in your pockets? I'm like, I don't know, man. I mean, the only thing in my pockets is a small will to live, and that's fading fast. He waves me through this scanner. It looks like a rejected prop from a Star Trek movie. The thing hums like it's about to teleport my dignity into space. He grabs my bag when it comes on the conveyor. Sir, we need to check this. For what? Hope, freedom, snacks? What are you looking for? Pulls out my deodorant. You guys know the deal. You know how this goes. I'm like, it's 3.2 ounces. I mean, I've never measured anything like that, but I know what I can travel with. 3.2 ounces. I mean, what are you worried about here? You think I'm going to freshen up the plane into submission? They confiscate it. We get into an argument over this. I'm standing there in my socks. I'm beltless. I'm holding my pants up with pure hope and fatness. And I'm watching a dude that's literally making $0 an hour throw away my Old Spice like he's saving the Republic. And you can't argue, because the minute you do, you're suddenly on a list. You're on that list. And there's a list for everything now. You can blink too aggressively at the x-ray machine, and suddenly you're a person of interest. Meanwhile, The flight, it's delayed because apparently pilots are government adjacent. And the airline says, we appreciate your patience. Oh, do you? Do you? Because patience is about all I have left after paying $900 for a flight that included free trauma, groping, and half a cup of ginger ale once I got on the plane. It felt like I'd survived a spiritual mugging by the time I got to Dallas. But hey, the good news, the government's about to be back open, which means we can all go back to getting legally screwed at full price. I mean, you know what they say, nothing brings people together like a shutdown, except maybe the TSA glove snapping sound. That'll bring you together real quick. That'll certainly bring you to attention. Unites the whole terminal in fear. Oh, boy. I made it through the whole week in Mexico without deodorant. Hey, you know what? Fit right in. Fit right in. No big deal. So I'm glad to be back. I love you, TSA. Please don't grope me next time I come through. If you do, you better do it good. You better do it so good. All right, let's talk about our friends over at Birch Gold. I had one of the trolls the other day who says, you're out there selling Jesus with an advertisement for gold. Yep. Birch Gold, text Chad to 989898. That's the number that's going to get you that free, no-obligation information kit that'll tell you how you can diversify your future savings and retirement with one of them retirement funds backed by physical gold, folks. I'm going to tell you something. You want to get them in your plan and your pocket for the days ahead. Text Chad to 989898, A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. You got that old 401k. It's not doing anything. It's with an old employer. They're not matching anything anymore. You got that savings account doing nothing. Check out my friends at Birch Gold. They will give you a shout on the phone. They'll get your address so they can send you that no-obligation kit. And they'll text you and let you know what all you need to know. So check them out. And do me a favor. Let's keep Birch Gold around so we can keep selling Jesus back by gold. All right, text Chad to 989898. I need you to do it. Don't send them a dancing banana. Oh, let's see. Am I available to do Carl Higbee today around 6 p.m.? Yeah, I probably can. I'll see you on Newsmax later. All right, let's get into this. My friend Colton Crottinger. Let's go to the top stories here, boys and girls. Normal scenarios, I would bring Party Foul Steve on, but he's out in the woods killing Bambi. That's right. And so this is what I tweeted yesterday morning. Traveling back into the country today, and I'm seeing my friend Colton Crottinger was arrested in Hood County, Texas. That's Granbury, Texas, for those of you keeping score, south of Fort Worth, for engaging in political speech with a posted satirical meme on social media. That's a question. And he's still incarcerated. Now, at the time when I wrote that, he was still incarcerated. I said, what country am I traveling back into? Is this the UK? Now, let me tell you this story. Let me tell you why it matters. Now, this is Texas, 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 United States of America. This is Granbury, Texas. A lot of these small counties, a lot of these small towns in Texas, they run these things like mafia-esque Gestapo bureaucratic governments where these guys aren't used to losing any type of power out there. And you cross these guys and you're in trouble. Now, my friend Colton Crottinger, and I call him my friend because he is. I've known him for a lot of years. Colton actually worked for me for a little while. He's a Navy vet, and he ran my distribution center for a little while with Prathertees.com. And he was there in North Texas, and he moved down. He set up like a ranch, a free ranch for veterans to be able to come get away. He set up this little peaceful compound down in the Granbury area so these guys could come down there and just kind of get away from the world for a little bit. Well, he tweeted out a meme the other day, and they arrested him. He put it on a satirical site and said that somebody that was running for something endorsed somebody else. It was a weird thing, and they said that he was impersonating someone, and so it's like a third-degree felony. They want to put him in prison for like 2 to 10 years. Now, Colton's a good dude. And I'm like looking at this thing, and I go, what's the deal? Because I'm looking at it, and you just popped it up there, Dave, that right there. So, Granbury breaking news. It is a Hood County Sheepdogs. It's a clearly marked satirical page. If you go to it on Facebook, it's satirical. There's a screenshot of this Tina Brown. They said he was impersonating somebody. So, screenshot of Tina's post, not a fake Tina account. And then that was put on this deal. There's this photoshopped portion, Speak Up Monica Brown. So Colton was charged with creating a fake Tina account. He never created a fake Tina account. It's that simple. So this seems to be a witch hunt. And again, this happened like on the 5th. Yesterday I'm coming back. It's the 9th. I had heard a little bit about it, waiting to see what happened, but I waited to watch and did he do something wrong? And so I posted about it on Twitter yesterday, and a lot of people there in Texas are saying, Chad Prather's entered the chat, and then my phone started blowing up about everybody's got an opinion on both sides. Let me just tell you something. If we're going to start arresting people for making political memes, sarcastic memes or whatever, he didn't create a fake account. I can't see any evidence of that. I went to Texas Scorecard, that news organization. They seem to be on Colton's side as well. If we're going to start doing that, then everybody needs to be in prison that comments, all the spammers underneath my social media, because I get memes created with my image on them of people supposedly quoting me every single day. I mean, let's go back to when we held they marched us out with the Epstein binder phase 1 deal at the White House, and they were creating AI images of dancing with it and all these kind of stuff. Maybe those people need to go to prison, right? No, welcome to the internet. That's the way the internet works, man. That's what happens on the internet. People are going to do satire. They're going to do humor. They're going to spam you. They're going to scam you. I am not asking for you to jump into my DMs and send me a message if that's happening. I had some guy who told this really sad story the other day on my social media, and somebody had gone in and clicked heart or something like that, and he sends me a message. Why would you love this message? I mean, I'm basically on death's door. Why would you love it? I'm like, dude, you're being scammed. And so I'm sitting there looking at all of these things, and I'm going, if we're going to start putting people in prison all the time, then, I got a whole pile of people for you that we can do that on. So anyway, Colton has made bail. I personally think that he's going to, we're going to see what happens. I think there needs to be more attention to this because what is this, the UK? We're really going to start arresting people, even if it is a political meme? I mean, I get people that impersonate me all the freaking time. They don't shut that down at all. So what are we going to do? Oh, let's read some of this guy in the chat. Let's see, it's all relative. Why don't you collaborate more with other comedians in the news media space, Chad, like Jimmy Dore? I don't know Jimmy Dore. I don't want to collaborate with other comedians. Most of them are depressing buttholes. I'm not trying to be mean. They just are. They're just kind of negative people. I guess there's a few funny ones that are out there, but they're depressing people to deal with. Trust me, after 20 years of doing comedy, most comedians, you don't want to deal with them. It's a joke. Relax. I like your idea. We are going to be collaborating with a lot of people here in the days to come. Got a lot of folks lined up. I tried to get Sarah Gonzalez to come on the show today. She wouldn't do it. Billy Bob Thornton, Landman. He goes off on celebrities pushing political opinions at the awards, basically tells them to shut up. Listen to what he has to say here. This is a Rogan show. Play the clip.
That has thrown you in jail, But there's something about having heroes that are unattainable for you. That way they can stay in that magic spot. Yep. So I think we've lost magic and mystery and all these things.
Well, it certainly happens when you hear actors talk about politics. Mm-hmm. When actors become activists, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Oy.
I donate to a lot of charities, mainly children's stuff, but nobody knows it. I don't go to the award show and talk about it when I'm getting my award. It's like Ricky Gervais said in that skit of his. He said, look, come up here, accept your little award, and fuck off.
Yeah.
I think first of all, unless you have really studied stuff and really know about a subject fully. Who the hell would want to listen to an actor or a musician talk about politics? You know what I mean? It's
right.
Like, are we supposed to follow this? I mean, if we are, what if they lead you down the wrong road? And, and politically, I call myself a radical moderate. I'm like very strong in my opinions. But my opinions don't belong to any political party. And, I just look at what makes sense. And I think we need a common sense party in this country. That's actually what I think we need.
Yeah.
It's just figure it out. It's pretty easy to figure out what this is all about,
A non-ideologically captured party.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why there's a non-ideologically. And by the way, there's two rich guys with a lot of power, big platforms saying this. And the reason they're saying it is because their power is not being threatened. Their control in their industry is not being threatened. They're very much in control, and they're also both very wealthy. Politicians have to keep people divided and away from common sense so they can maintain control and power and wealth. You see the deal? That's why we don't have a common sense party. That's why we don't have any of that stuff going on in our world. So, yeah, I appreciate the sentiment, but as long as politicians are running things and as long as we're letting them do it and divide us, guess what? You got it. They're gonna make sure that those things continue to happen. Common sense will be dead because common sense doesn't pay the bills. No. Tragedy and fear and all of that kind of stuff, that's what pays the bills, and they got to keep us all full of shock value, dressed up like furries in the Portland streets. Zohran Mamdani, of course, he became mayor of New York City, and the voters, guess what? They realized they've been duped, man. Little buyer's remorse after learning Governor Kathy Hochul will not greenlight his free bus plan or tax the rich. Look at there. She likes that money that comes in. Play the clip.
Oh.
Get your teeth in your mouth, Kathy.
Put up with a lot of crap. So I just want to
Speak
set
up,
the
Kathy.
stage that, you look at the history of people who've run multi-million-dollar ad campaigns to try and get me to change my position. I don't change my position. So I just want to put it out there. I respect people's opinions. I respect the proper place to convey them. And so I've said to people, I hear you. And that was important. But also, there's a time and place. And so that's all on that. No, I've had conversations on this trip, but many conversations, I'd say over the summer and the fall, that were important.
All right, let's stop it right there. She's basically saying you can't do it. You can't do it. And the Mamdani thing is going to be content that we use forever. I had a guy the other day who wanted to tell me that why do you guys care what happens in New York City? Because what happens in New York City becomes a snapshot of what happens to every major city in America. It's been the seedbed of capitalism, of industry, of entertainment, all of these things, and it's going to spread to the other big cities of America. So that's why we care, because it tends to bleed over into our lives. Now, in a little while, when we get to the Pinheads section, I'm going to remind you, I'm going to show you this Methodist preacher, pastor, whatever she is, who's going to tell you that Mamdani is Christ-like. He's the most Christ-like politician she's ever seen. And we're going to obliterate that. So stay tuned for that. Hit the thumbs up if you're there, particularly Rumble, YouTube. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the like button. Jump in the chat. But I remember when I ran for student body president when I was in 8th grade, Tut Middle School, and I gave a great speech. Principal came to me that day. He goes, man, that's the best speech from an 8th grader I've ever heard in my life. Who knew? Chad Prather could talk his entire life. Who knew? Well, the guy who won the election, my buddy Rocky Laster, Rocky won. He became the student body president. But Rocky got up there, and I gave him a hard time about it later on. He promised vending machines in the hallway. He promised candy machines. He promised Cokes at lunch. You can get all the chocolate milk you wanted. He made them all kind of promises that he couldn't follow up on. And guess what? A whole bunch of 8th graders elected him student body president. That's what happened. I ran a good campaign, folks, but I told the truth, and the truth got me nowhere. Rocky became the 8th grade president. Not me. No, because I told the truth. You have Kathy Hochul, who can't keep her teeth in her mouth. You notice she's not only starting to look like Nancy Pelosi, she's starting to sound like her, too. And I don't change at all. Put your teeth in your mouth, Kathy. All right. I wish I had some chocolate milk right now. J.D. Vance, man, this is funny right here. Play the clip.
Demonstration.
All right. Oh, here we go. Okay.
Really put him on the spot.
Really put me on the spot.
Sorry.
If I had dropped it, man, what a dipshit I would look like here. Yeah. Somebody call the Secret Service.
Yeah.
This guy.
Somebody called the Secret Service on him. Now, there was Usha standing next to JD, her husband, second lady, and And the she didn't look like she was worried about her husband cheating on her with Erica Kirk. I'll just say that, okay? And but that's pretty funny, right? Throws the medicine ball at him. He looked like he was ready. You know what? That tells me J.D. Vance can handle anything that's thrown at him. Boom, yeah, booyah, booyah. All right. Are they going to unlock the government, open the government back up? I tend to think that we're at that point. After 40 days, the Senate unlocked a path to reopen the government. 60-40 would be the final vote. I voted for the 15th time to end the Schumer shutdown. This is Oklahoma's Mark Wayne Mullen. And he said, frustrated that Oklahomans had faced almost 6 weeks of unnecessary hardship, travel delays, and missed paychecks. But after this important vote, I'm optimistic the Schumer shutdown will soon come to an end. Now, I've been accused over and over again all week long. I've been accused of starving children. I'm starving the children. I don't know why, because I support and have voted 3 times now for Donald Trump. Maybe a 4th time in 28. We'll see what happens. But it's all my fault. I'm starving the children to death. I don't recall having a vote in the whole thing, but whatever. I also don't remember Republicans shutting the deal down. And I got more to say about this here in a second, but I want you to go back to that clip there, David. Let's pull it up. Here's what he had to say there in the Senate. I'm talking slow. Mike Johnson, here's what he had to say. Play the clip.
Good morning, everybody.
Speaker of the
I'm
House.
very thankful to see you all this morning. I'm thankful to welcome you to what appears to be the beginning of the end of the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, as shameful as that is. I don't think it's coincidental, you know how I think, but it's after 40 days of wandering in the wilderness and making the American people suffer needlessly, some Senate Democrats finally have stepped forward to end the pain. It appears to us this morning that our long national nightmare is finally coming to an end, and we're grateful for that. At least some Democrats now finally appear ready to do what Republicans and President Trump and millions of hardworking American people have been asking them to do for weeks. As we said from the beginning, the people's government cannot be held hostage to further anyone's political agenda. Mm-hmm. That was never right. And shutting down the government never produces anything. It never has, if you study history.
You know, our government, there's no doubt about it, we're over-bloated, overblown with power-hungry control mongers that, they're going to do whatever they're going to do, and they're going to keep on pushing through in order to maintain those things. Our government does need to be limited. It needs to be, I don't know if it'll ever get smaller because we've created this huge blob that consumes everything it touches. But when it shuts down because of governmental dependency and certain things that our society has created it to depend on, people do suffer because of that. Now, I've been called all kind of names in recent days. Like I said, starving children. I was literally down in Mexico trying to help their economy. I don't know what they want from me. But this is a shame that we are willing to use, Democrats, Republicans both, willing to use the average American citizen as a pawn in the whole political scheme of things. And people are going to suffer because of it. And it does start to happen, like what I was saying a minute ago with Hood County, Texas, with Colton Crottinger. It doesn't matter if it's in the Beltway of Washington, D.C., or in the State House, or in the courthouse, in, Main Street America, in the town square. When you have people that are crooked out there and they have an agenda, they have created the power to completely control your life in a radical way, and there's literally nothing you can do about it. And it's a sad state of affairs that we, who claim to be a free country, claim to have liberty, have put up with it for so long. And we do. We really, really do. Now, we survived the last 40 days. I don't know of any mass starvation of children that's happened out there. My big thing is I always call on the church. The church should have never given a welfare system. The ministry that the church is called to do is never supposed to be given to the government. You can't trust the government. But again, we gave that away. We allowed somebody else to take care of our own charity. You can't do that. Take a look at this meme right here. Put this thing, pop that sucker up there. Little shutdown meme. There's Chucky. There's Chucky bowing down in his shawl. back from George Floyd. Oh, maybe they'll go to prison for creating a fake meme. You know, I mean, if they can, somebody's going to create that. I mean, that's a Photoshop deal. Maybe we should just start putting everybody in prison, right? Anybody that creates a fake meme. I mean, Time Magazine didn't actually do this. But you know what? Schumer had no plan. Schumer had no plan on any of this stuff. Take a look at this right here. And Schumer, they ought to just, at least Stefanik had this to say on Fox News. Play this clip. I mean, we ought to just blast
this. This is Schumer shut down at every opportunity. He voted not to reopen the government. He has done so over 14 times. And the reality is this is the same bill that he voted in support of 11 times when Joe Biden was president. House Republicans voted to fund the government. And this is a real issue that impacts people, Dana. I talk to my constituents, whether it's LIHEAP, which is very important for home heating bills, whether it's our air traffic controllers. You see these delays at airports all across the country. We need to reopen the government, and the fact that Democrats are doubling down to leverage the American people, it's a disgrace. We will continue to work on a bipartisan basis to serve the American people, open the government, and lower health care costs.
You know what that sounds like to me? Some of that stuff Billy Bob Thornton was saying a minute ago on Joe Rogan. Common sense. Just a little common sense. This is the deal. Before we go on, let me just capitalize on this for a second. Every time Democrats start screaming about a so-called government shutdown or starving people or protecting whatever, it's never about the people. It's always about the power. Now, I know I'm sounding redundant to say that, but I need it to sink in with all of us because you're about to have Thanksgiving and you're going to have that one person that's in the family that's going to come to Thanksgiving dinner. And they're going to tell you how Trump is so mean, and they're going to try to ruin Thanksgiving because you voted your MAGA. You had a red hat ceremonially sewn to your head. And they're going to talk about how they care about grandma's Social Security. They care about the military getting paid. They didn't care one freaking bit when they were tanking small businesses and shutting down churches and forcing kids to wear masks just to get on an airplane or go to class, pulling them out of class. A shutdown is just another episode of Washington Theater where they hold America hostage and blame conservatives for not writing them a blank check, and that's what it was. They want to cry chaos while spending us into oblivion? I mean, we're talking billions of dollars, and then they're going to call that governance? Democrats don't fear a shutdown. They never did. What they fear is accountability. That's why if they reopen the government today, tomorrow, whenever they do it, the Democrats, all the stuff that they were voting no on, all of those things that they would not pass, they're not getting those things. They're not, the Republicans aren't making any concessions on this. They'll fund the government at least through January. And let me tell you, if this government ever did shut down for real, then Americans might notice how little it actually does for them and how much it does to them. But again, we've become governmentally dependent. We've taken government jobs that are paid by the Fed, jobs that are paid by taxpayers. Now, don't get me wrong. They're still going to tax you for those days that they were shut down, and they still received those government politicians, those elected politicians, I should say. They still received a paycheck. How many of you guys are going to be missing? Let me see you guys in the chat. How many of you guys are going to miss it? Blow it up with an American flag. Come on, we did the dancing bananas this morning. Let me throw some American flags in that sucker right there. How many of you are going to miss some family members come Thanksgiving or Christmas during the holiday season because of politics? Does anybody have that? Give me a little raise your hand moment if you can in there. Yes or no? Are you going to have people that are going to skip family events because of politics? Now, that's a sad damn state of affairs right there. It really is. The idea that someone up in Washington, D.C. is going to tear my family apart over some brainwashed ideology, and I mean that left and right because they listen to the news cycle too long, or because of social media or a meme that may or may not have been true. Like that's what we're talking about. These memes, they might be satire. We don't even know. I get accused of stuff every single day because people like to post memes of me with my image on there, and they create the meme, and some spam account did it. And people are like, I can't believe Chad Prather said that. Chad Prather didn't say that. But families get split up over stuff like this because of social media, because of the brainwashing of MSNBC, NBC, CNN, Fox News 2, all of them. All of them. I like that, Melissa. No, we respect each other's opinions enough. I appreciate that. That's a mature perspective. I think that, Renee, COVID destroyed the relationship with my brother and sister-in-law. The final death blow. That's sad. I mean, it really is. There are people who say that politics is rarely brought up. I don't talk about politics when I get around people. I like to talk about fun things. Politics aren't fun. It's just not fun, man. And I see what you say there, Tiffany, that you invited, they declined, you tried, you did. That's all you can do. Trump is demanding all of the air traffic controllers return to work now. He's also going to recommend, this is Andrew Colvett, a $10,000 bonus for all those who continued to show up to work during the shutdown. I like it. All air traffic controllers must get back to work now, all caps. Look at the president going on. Caps. Anyone who doesn't will be substantially docked. For those air traffic controllers who were great patriots, I didn't take any time off for the Democrat shutdown hoax. I don't know if Trump knows what the word hoax means. Like he uses that word a lot, but I'm like, I do not think that word means what you think it means. I'll be recommending a bonus of $10,000 per person for distinguished service to our country. For those that did nothing but complain and took time off, even though everybody knew they would be paid in full. Shortly into the future, I'm not happy with you. I'm not happy with you, I got to tell you. I'm not happy. You didn't step up to help the USA against the fake Democrat attack that was only meant to hurt our country. You will have a negative mark. I feel like we're in kindergarten getting stars. At least in my mind, against your record, if you want to leave service in the near future, please do not hesitate to do so with no payment or severance of any kind. You'll be quickly replaced by true patriots who will do a better job. I don't want to do that job. I can tell you, Mr. President, I'm not volunteering. I don't think I could pass the air traffic controller test at this point in my life. Working on a brand new state-of-the-art equipment, the best in the world. Anyway, he just goes on trying to fix antiquated junk. The sheer brain power of Donald Trump and where he goes with that brain is just. I pray to God that Donald Trump never gets like dementia. If he ever gets dementia, please don't put a microphone in front of that guy. He would just rattle off forever. Anyway, I landed on 2 planes last night that did not come down on all the wheels. I can tell you that, and I was praying pretty hard that wasn't a product of a government shutdown. MSNBC has come to a light bulb moment, realized that the government shut down because they wanted to use it to help them in the elections last Tuesday. So this is what I was referring to earlier. This is our friend Colin Rugg. Then they realized, Hilton says in the wake of the election on Tuesday, and now here, Trump is winning again. How did he do it? Obiadala says, I don't understand how a Dem senator goes, wow, we won really big. Let me cave now. Play the clip.
It's strange, Dean, to go back to the original sort of part of this conversation of whether he is a good deal maker. I mean, in a way, it seems like the president is kind of getting what he wanted 40 days ago when all this started. He was out there saying that, oh, this is all about Democrats trying to give health care to illegal immigrants. He just said that to reporters moments ago, repeated that refrain that Democrats had actually very successfully pushed back against. Then there's all this energy. In the wake of the election on Tuesday, the president made remarks saying basically, wow, Republicans are being harmed by all of this, acknowledging that he was on his back foot. And now here he is winning again? How did he do it?
The Democrats, I don't understand how a Democratic senator goes, wow, we won really big. Let me cave now. I don't understand. That makes no sense to me.
Well, maybe to Anthony's point, if they were cynical, like if we wanted just to hold this out until we get through the election, and then after the election, we got the wins,
It's strange, Dean.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Maybe if Democrats would focus just half as much on governing than they do on spinning a narrative, we might could get somewhere in this country. Like we might, you might could stop wondering how Trump keeps on winning because you guys are in chaos. Now, part of me, it's delicious. Part of me loves to see it, right? There's some, there's some concerns out there, I think, in the Democratic Party, just the average rank and file who's looking around. I'm not talking about the paid shills like the Harry Sissons or the Krasenstein brothers, because they're paid to keep those balls in their mouth, right? So I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the average rank and file out there who's really frustrated because they want to keep being able to kill babies at will, and they want to be able to keep open borders and walk amongst illegal aliens in their country, and they want to be able to fund their health care. They're just those rank and file people who have been overcome with so much compassion that in their brains have just fallen out of their open minds. I'm talking about those people. They're really frustrated because they're like, I don't like the orange man. It's so bad. He's so bad. I don't like it. And you got to pat their bubble and put a pappy in their mouth because, the hair dye. They can't keep dyeing it purple because they're, they just, you can't afford to die anymore. And if the Democrats would just focus on actually being for the people, in fact, any politician, instead of getting your way in the halls of Congress or the Senate or the State House, wherever it may be. But, you ask for common sense. And these people are so focused on marching in the streets. They're so focused on protesting something that you can't engage them in ideas or ideals. My friend Kenny Webster, he encountered some, he's on the Walton and Johnson morning show there in Houston on the radio. Kenny Webster, he's walking through the park. He's jogging through the park, and he sees these communist protesters, activists, whatever. They're holding up communist newspaper. And he's like, can you tell me? He stops. He says, can you tell me one thing communism has ever built that's good? And there's one guy coming up looking like, Dostoevsky, comes walking with his little goatee on. And I love what Kenny says. He says, here comes the leader of the book club. And he says, the Bolshevik Revolution. That was an accomplishment. Yeah, if you consider 60 million murders an accomplishment, I would say the Bolshevik Revolution was pretty successful. I mean, the first thing the Bolshevik Revolution did was it took the children out of the home and put them in communist schools so they could grow up to be good communists and eventually become KGB assassins and interrogators. I mean, sure, Stalin was welding people into boats and then sinking them. Communism, which killed arguably over 100 million people in the 20th century alone. I mean, let's give it to the Bolshevik Revolution, man. Take the machine guns out there and murder the Tsar Romanov and his entire family in the snow. Oh, it's a fantastic idea. But these people on the left can't debate what they believe. I mean, I literally did a video that's now, I guess you would consider it viral, while I was down in Mexico the other day about what that really looks like now that you've elected Mamdani. I have people. And do not come at me with your chat GPT responses, okay? I see right through that crap. If you want to debate me, but don't come at me with your little hash marks and your chat GPT crap. Because I'll destroy that every single time. Don't use the computer to make your arguments, and that's what certain people were doing in my video. Listen, you can't sit there and tell me, they want to tell me that Democrat socialism was good, that socialism wasn't collectivist. He wanted to tell me that Marxism was fine. He wanted to tell me that Islam is not a group control ideology, that it's not a government wrapped in theology. Want to tell me all this stuff. And I'm like, first of all, what hookah pipe are you smoking, bro? Because you can't just erase history in all of the evidence. And by the way, don't come at me when you've never lived under a Muslim regime or experienced it, or you've never lived under a socialist or communist regime. And don't come and say Sweden is socialist. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Scandinavian countries are not socialist. They are democratic with high taxes and closed borders, which is why they can make it work. Because as the great economist Milton Friedman said, you can have one of two things, you can't have both. You can have an open border or you can have a socialist state, or a welfare state. You can't have a welfare state with an open border. Scandinavian countries, closed to outsiders. So they raise the taxes and everybody does what they want with the money because they built a communal democracy. But do not tell me that Sweden is socialist. It's not. Don't you do it. So yeah, when you deal with these people, they can't argue their ideas. That's the point. And now they're over there scratching their head, wondering why they keep losing. Because your ideals suck. Your ideologies suck. You got Chuck Schumer. The dude spent decades in D.C. He is literally. This was a Schumer shutdown. Let's call it what it was. You talk about he wants to be a fighter for New Yorkers, yet somehow, first of all, push your glasses up on your nose, Chuck. You got the spark of a soggy firecracker, bro. The longest serving senator from New York, which means you've had plenty of time to perfect the art of political dodgeball, which is avoiding the tough questions and then issuing statements telling people to stay hydrated after a healthcare scare. Remember that? Don't tell me about your Brooklyn roots, your Harvard degree, like you're some kind of hybrid blue-collar, Ivy League, whatever, everyday man, and your, quote, vigorous advocacy. It's like somebody that spent half their career collecting trophies for attending meetings. That's all he's ever done. Chuck Schumer is pathetic. And you guys are going to hold him up as some kind of leader in the Democratic Party. Everybody ought to be scratching their head. Everybody on the left ought to be celebrating that Nancy Pelosi, after 937,000 years in Congress, is now retiring and not going to seek re-election. I mean, these people are a disappointment, not only as politicians, as human beings. Now you say, Chad, you're spreading hate. No, I'm not. It's called common sense. That's what Billy Bob Thornton said he wanted us to have. They've been there for decades. Are you any better because of their input? Are we? Are we any better? Now, you can say what you want to say about Donald Trump, but I can tell you what, the guy, he brought a new something to Washington, D.C., didn't he? And they didn't like it. That new something was like a laser pointer to cats, and he stirred them up. And they don't know what to do with Donald Trump because they can't control him. And whether you like him or not, you got to admit, he's very different from that 50-year politician, the Joe Bidens, the Chuck Schumers, the Bernie Sanders, and Nancy Pelosi's of the world. These guys have been living in the slippers of the establishment's comfort for half a decade. And they're going to tell you they're fighting for the middle class while they're eating their $800 meals at night while you were locked down. And they're going to tell you that shutting down the government is good for you. And they weren't going to pass it. It's all because they couldn't fund health care for illegals and send more money to illegals that were here. And I love the fact how stupid, with two O's, people online want to come on and argue and say, health care for illegals, Chad, it's not legal in this country. I know! That's the whole point. They're trying to make it legal. What is wrong with everybody? What is wrong with everybody? These people are disgusting. And so, yeah, I understand why MSNBC's call them out. I understand. They should call them out because they're a confused bunch and they love chaos because the chaos gives them more control. Are you with me? Let me see you there in the chat. Are you there? Am I yelling too much? I don't know. I've been in Mexico. I got to get it off my chest. I will be in Spring, Texas at Do-Si-Do Thursday night, bringing my boys the Ragamuffins, Steve Helms, Ben McPherson, Bam Bam King. We'll be there. And we're going to be Friday night down in Seabrook, Texas. Birch 295. Go to watchchad.com. Useful idiots. You're right about that, Just Curious. Let me shake up my Make Wellness. Have you joined my Make Wellness team? You should. We're going to Hawaii this year. You can go. One of my team members, my friend Martha, she's on my team. She's a killer. She's on fire. She's already won her trip to Hawaii. Just that quick, that fast. I can't even snap. Let's talk about some pinheads. Let me break the stuff. Let's get the pinheads of the day. All right, did you see this clip right here? David Medina, follow him at David Medina PDX on social media. He had a great little funny commentary on this. I had to share it. United Methodist pastor calls Zohran Mamdani the most Christ-like politician, says he's building a Christ-like government. Her idea is so stupid that she says it once and then she feels the need to tell you again. She's going to repeat her stupid idea literally twice on this. Go to the big screen with it there, David, and let's play the clip here. Player.
Zohran Mamdani might be one of the most Christ-like political figures in our American system right now. And hear me out. I'm Blair. I'm a pastor, a parent, and a professor of theology. And I understand that Zohran is Muslim. That's not the point here. The point here is the way that Zohran describes his own philosophy of the government. In a recent interview with The Daily and the New York Times, he said, what democratic socialism means is a belief that it is government's job to ensure that every person is living a life of dignity. And dignity is not the things that you'd like, it's not the things that you'd want, and it's the things that you need. I'm going to say that one more time. The government's job is to ensure that every person is living a life of dignity. And when I read the scriptures and look at what Jesus does for people in his ministry, it is to ensure them a life of dignity. It's to heal people who've been exiled because of their illness or their disability. It's to feed people when they're hungry. It's to see children as beloved and to belonging to the community instead of as property or possessions. It's to see women the same way. Jesus ensures a life of dignity for all those he meets. And so if you want to talk about instituting a Christian government, I would pay attention to what Zohran Mamdani is doing. Because what he is describing is a Christ-like system of government where we are all assured the basic necessities for human dignity. And I think that looks like the kingdom of God.
You think it does, huh? That's like saying the DMV is the new church because it's got long lines and broken spirits. Listen, I don't care how much you talk about. And by the way, here's the difference between, in a nutshell, between Zohran Mamdani and Jesus. Jesus actually delivered on his promises. Mamdani never will. And you can say all the justice for all slogans and slap that on a campaign flyer and a bumper sticker, but you don't compare yourself to the Son of God just because you handed out free bus rides, which you can't deliver on, and you took a selfie in front of a housing project. You're not going to change anything. Jesus actually instituted a new kingdom. What Moron Mamdani is going to do is he is going to institute a crumbling infrastructure in one of America's greatest cities. Jesus flipped tables in the temple when the corruption took over. These people she's defending are the temple money changers that are after power and control. Literally, see, the difference is Jesus didn't tell lies in order to get political power. Jesus washed feet, they wash their image. Jesus carries a cross, they carry talking points that they can't deliver on. Jesus didn't need a press release or a campaign manager. He just told the truth. And you either fell in line with it or you didn't. So no, Zohran Mamdani isn't the most Christ-like politician ever. He's just another man who figured out compassion polls well in New York. And so if you want to see something Christ-like in politics, pastor, you need to look for a little humility out there, a little service and not sound bites, a little sacrifice instead of socialism wrapped in that Sunday school language. So sick of these people, man. These people never want to debate me. They never want to debate me. I don't know what the deal is. Here's another pinhead. This other pastor down in Florida, I guess he's somebody. I saw the headline like he's somebody. Have y'all ever heard of this guy before? He's now a polygamist. Told his church. He said it's biblical. I might do a long-form video on this later on today. Rich Tidwell, is that his name? He goes on for it looks like he's Rich Tidwell. He's taking a second wife. He's got a harp. Who's got a harp? He's got a harp. I thought it was like a treadmill. You know what I would do with the harp if it was in my living room? The same thing as I do with the treadmill. I'd hang the laundry on it. Here's what he had to say about his two wives. Notice his wives aren't in the video. Play the clip. Go ahead.
Demands monogamy. God never demands it. The Bible never prohibits polygyny. And to the shock of many,
Pervert.
God compares David's lawful marriages, plural, with his unlawful union with Bathsheba in order to indicate that he had done the wrong thing. Moreover, in 2 Samuel 7 and 8, God explicitly states, I gave your masters wives to you. Let's go and read. But unfortunately for the monogamy-only crowd, that's the only thing lawful in God's eyes, God gives David wives and then uses it as his arguing point for why what David did was so wrong. In other words, you already had lawful wives. Why would you take someone else's wife? If you took just a moment, you would study this out and see that not only does God not sin, but by him giving David wives, it shows you that that is not sin, because God doesn't sin. And you go, well, it's different now. The scriptures say, I, the Lord, do not change. Marriage law doesn't change. God's law regarding marriage doesn't change. Moreover, do we truly believe that if Abraham, Jacob, or David resurrected, which is a possibility according to Matthew chapter 27, verses 52 and 53, when many saints resurrected at the time of Jesus' crucifixion, that era, if those men resurrected because they can, would they not be permitted to hold office or preach in the church? Do we really believe that Paul, in one verse, is just disqualifying all the patriarchs who are prophets and elders from being prophets and elders anymore? They're now disqualified. Absolutely not. It's not what Paul is doing. That's ridiculous. How could we possibly? If Abraham resurrected, David resurrected, and came to preach at your church, you really believe he's not allowed because he has more than one wife? That's insane. Literally, it's insane. They wrote the scriptures we preach, and they wouldn't be allowed to preach those very scriptures that they wrote. That's obnoxious. Are you listening? Moses had more than one wife.
Stop. All right, somebody's horny, right? I get it. You got your little freak flag flying out there, dude. There's so much I want to say about this and don't have time to say it, so I'm going to do another video today. I'll do a little 10-minute response to this. It's just absolutely stupid. I mean, first of all, those guys out there, gentlemen, if you're single and you're looking for a godly woman, and I don't know why you'd want multiples. Like, I don't know why you would want that. I will just suffice it to say that every time there were more than one wife in the Bible, it ended in disaster and problems. Now, this guy's trying to argue and say, well, it was still blessed by God. No, it literally wasn't. Just because it was done does not mean it should have been done, and I will break that down for you theologically, biblically, and absolutely argument proof later on social media. But the fact that this guy can get two women to marry him, if you guys are out there and you're wanting to know where God's wife for you is, she's coming. She's coming. Because if this pinhead right here can get two wives, there's hope for all of us, man. All of us. And let me just say, since you are here, the Bible does not endorse, excuse, or permit polygamy. Not by command, not by silence, not by example. What we see in Scripture is not divine approval, but divine tolerance of human failure for the sake of progressive revelation. And when you read it in full, the Word of God makes its position crystal clear: one man, one woman, one covenant. And no, based on the New Testament, you wouldn't let David come speak in your pulpit. You wouldn't. Yes, his words are in the Scripture, but you wouldn't, because in the New Testament, in the New Covenant, a better covenant, it would absolutely forbid it. The dude's coming in with Solomon with 750 wives. No, he's not coming to preach at your church. So again, that whole whataboutism stuff doesn't work when it comes to the kingdom of God. It just don't, and especially when you're talking about it's crazy. People are dumb. People are dumb. And by the way, I'm sick of these people who get online and want to keep coming up with their wild-eyed theological interpretations that justify all kind of crap in their life. And they preach to the screen like they're leading a church. Who's this guy even talking to? Who's he talking to? He's got a harp. He has a harp. Is there anybody in the chat that can play a harp? I mean, out of the 4,000 people, 3,000 people watching this show right now, can anybody play a harp? I need some more harp in my life. I'll make another video. I'll make a 10-minute long video about this guy later on. I don't know. Text Chad to 989898. Let Birch Gold diversify your retirement in an IRA that's backed by physical gold. That's what you want to do, folks. And go over to KB. You want a harp? I don't even know where you go get a harp. I don't even know where you would go get a harp. Make sure you hit like, hit the thumbs up. Make sure you share, you subscribe. Have you subscribed? One of the things I'm doing with Before the Noise, or each morning, my favorite time of the day, 8, 7 Central. We had, I don't know, about 12,000 watching this morning. It was fantastic. I don't care about the numbers. I really don't. The numbers are fun. It's fine. But when you got, 100,000 people that watch Before the Noise in the mornings, and they're getting encouragement, and they're getting blessed, and man, the messages that are coming to me from beforethenoise.com are phenomenal, man. People are just really sharing their guts with me, and it's helping people, motivating them. I'm excited about this. And one of the things that I'm doing is I'm starting something called Above the Noise, and I'm going to put some courses online. I'm going to do 4 or 5. I'm going to do no less than 5 classes a month, okay? Because that's what I got. I got all the time in the world to keep doing more stuff. But it's not going to be for everybody. And so I am going to put it out there. It'll be a deal you sign up for. We'll have some free stuff. We'll have some behind-the-scenes stuff. We'll have, it'll be some for everybody. But I want to take people a little bit deeper. People are like, are we going to have to pay for this? Maybe something if you're going to go deeper. Because, again, somebody's got to pay for all this. So I want people to invest in what they're going to get. That's what I want them to do, because I don't think people value what they don't invest in. That's just a principle of life. So we're putting it together. I don't care if it's $1. I think people need to invest in what they value. So anyway, we're going to be putting together Above the Noise. I'm working on that platform right now. And we're going to have a good time with it, man. But I want you to join me for free each morning. I hate that I don't do it on Saturdays and Sundays. I want to do it on Saturdays and Sundays for Before the Noise. I love it. And don't worry, even with Above the Noise, there's going to be stuff that everybody's going to be able to get. You won't have to pay for, all the stuff that's on there. But I'm going to charge a little membership fee just to join me every month. Because I want you to invest in something. And Above the Noise is going to take you deeper. I guarantee you give me 12 months with you. You give me 12 months with you on Above the Noise when that comes out, and you will be more prepared for life and ministry than anybody that's coming out of seminary today with a 3-year Master's of Divinity education. Yeah, I'm telling you, you will have more than the seminary is giving these people. And I know because I went. And when we came out of seminary, we called it cemetery. The Bible, when I'm done with you, coaching you up, getting you by the collar, holding you up, launching you into this world for Jesus, you will be fired up. This Bible will not be a textbook. It'll be a living sword in your hand. And I promise you, you give me those months, and you'll know more valuable stuff that you can use day in and day out than anybody coming out after their historical theology, their systematic theology, their hermeneutics, their homiletics, all these things you don't care about. Don't even know what they are, but you'll know more about it than they do. Watch me. That's a big promise, but I can deliver. Yeah, you want 12 months with Chad Tiffany? Of course you do. All right, I got to get out of here. We're past the hour. Party Foul Steve, I hope he's killed something big. Follow David Medina at David Medina PDX, also at Party Foul Steve. Follow me at Watch Chad. I'm going to do some more videos today. In the meantime, keep praying. Keep praying for the country. Just pray for the country. I'll give you some more thoughts later on the polygamy thing. But just tune back in and check out the videos on YouTube or Rumble. All right, in the meantime, for the guys behind the scenes, rocking and rolling, I love them. I love y'all. I'm praying for you. You pray for me. Hit subscribe and the thumbs up. Hit like and share it before you get out of here. And I will talk to you guys later on. I love you. God bless you. Until then, bye.